Since some folks don't believe that fat meat is greasy, I'm going to tell you what Dillon Gabriel said about the possibility of returning to Oklahoma and how he ended up at Oregon. And we're going to leave no doubt about this. I've covered this in a couple of segments, but I'm doing this once again so that we can stop talking about it because it was not going to happen. All right, let's start with this. In December 2023, Gabriel went on local radio in Oklahoma City and he said, quote, "I had full intentions to go to the NFL, but after the game, Texas Christian, on that Monday and Tuesday, I just sat down with agencies and my family and tried to get all the information they provided." Okay? When they did, I was smiling. At first because I thought we had a pretty dang good season other than 2 close ones, losses, a total of 8 points. And yeah, I just looked at it and was like, man, that can't be right. Meaning that his draft evaluation was not really that great. Okay? So he went for 3,600 yards last year with 30 TDs and 6 interceptions. Had 373 passing yards, rush yards on the ground, and I think 12 more scores. Gabriel's mom, Dory, told The Athletic that her son received a 7th round grade. And Dillon Gabriel said, "I'm still very surprised," to The Athletic. "I love Oklahoma. I love all the people I met there. I think that's the spot where I truly grew up to be the player I was going to be." His mother added this part that I thought was necessary in this piece for the Register Guard. Dory said, "The decision, in fact, included his love for Oklahoma as he was worried that the Sooners would lose 5-star freshman quarterback Jackson Arnold, who backed up Gabriel last season, and he would leave via the transfer portal if Gabriel decided to stay." The quote is, "He just knew if he stayed, Jackson might leave, and he didn't want that for the program. If you feel like returning is going to cause more harm to the program than good, then you know what you have to do." Okay. This is him talking about what he believes about his decision and Oklahoma, Lebby, all of it considered. Talking about going perhaps with Lebby to Mississippi State. We both knew it wasn't the right timing. He understood that guy's family for life. Further on down, talking about how do you end up choosing Oregon. Marcus Mariota, 2014 Heisman Trophy winner, had a lot to do with that. He said it was huge. You know, someone you always look up to as a quarterback from Hawaii, that's something we always watched. I loved turning on the TV and being able to watch him when I was younger, and now having obviously the relationship that we have had and just being able to text back and forth, that's something, you know, as a little kid, I still smile and don't ever take for granted. So I'd say the decision process, it was just cool to kind of have that and be able to talk through it together. He knew he was going to have an opportunity to play. He knew he was going to have an opportunity to start. He also knew he was going to be joining a program that was looking to win the Big Ten championship in year one and make the college football playoff, if not win the national championship this year. It's really not as complicated as people would like it to be, but I'm coming to find out that is mostly true. When we talk about these big, large decisions, they usually come down to some very simple arithmetic. I said this before. Dillon Gabriel was always going to leave Oklahoma after 2023. Everybody, including Gabriel, thought that he was leaving for the NFL. It's one of the reasons that Jackson Arnold, I believe, committed to Oklahoma in the first place. Now, could you have foreseen that Jackson Arnold would have gotten off to such a terrible start that he would get benched in the second half of the 4th game of the season versus Tennessee? No. Did you foresee that the offense would have been riddled with injuries on the offensive line and at wide receiver? No. Could you have foreseen that Dillon Gabriel would show up to Oregon and lickety-split, Bob's your uncle, take them all the way toward a monster win against Ohio State for the first win in program history against a top 2 ranked opponent? No, you wouldn't have. That's not how these things work. When we are doing analysis, we have really 2 kinds of takes, 3 really. We got takes that are right in the moment. We got takes that are right in time. And we got takes that are comically wrong. And that's called doing my job, right? That's what it is. You give a take. If you get it wrong, people show up to tell you that you don't like their team or that you don't like the player, or you just are holding a grudge because your team is your team no matter what. I don't believe in that crap because I am a whole man and I'm not backing down from nobody and nothing. That aside, I don't get anything out of being dishonest on this thing, man. I don't think any sports fan really does. One of the reasons that I think sports fans get to know each other so well is we commiserate. Only one team going to win a championship. The rest of us are going to be somehow kind of upset and mad or made humble by the opportunity, right? You get so many chances to get at this thing, you don't get it. You start to worry, and then people start to look like, hey, dog, I know what you're looking like. I know how you're feeling. As we talk through this, and I've said this, it should be noted that Dillon Gabriel is not the only quarterback that was asked to make this sort of calculus, make this sort of decision. Will Howard at Kansas State also was asked to do the same thing. As a matter of fact, last year, he had a conversation with Chris Kleiman they were very open about. Chris Kleiman recounted it. He said, look, he walked in, he said, I think you're going to go with Avery. And Chris said, yeah, I think we're going to go with Avery too. They thought that Will Howard would go into the NFL like they thought Oklahoma thought Dillon Gabriel would go in the NFL. Turns out someone else has need of your services, and that someone else has at the top of its list winning the national championship. It is not a coincidence to me that you have first-year starters at Ohio State and Oregon who are nothing like true freshmen. That you can't compare Will Howard to Dylan Raiola at Nebraska, and you can't compare Jackson Arnold or even Michael Hawkins Jr. to Dillon Gabriel at Oregon. It's not possible. It's just not going to happen. Difference is, it's working out for Kansas State. Avery Johnson has been outstanding for them. Have they lost a game? Yeah. But he has also helped them win games and look like a star doing it. You're going to go with the guy who's got tremendous talent and you get to have for the next 2-3 years, rather than a guy that you're going to get for a single semester. Now, I realize that for you and I, that's easy. Give me the guy for the single semester because I'm trying to win right damn now. I don't care about what's going to happen in the future. I want to win today. It has been 25 years since Oklahoma won a national championship. I'd like to see one. Do you realize that Oklahoma ain't won no national championship since I was 13 years old? I'm a 37-year-old man. You know what I'm saying? Me and Lewis Hamilton getting ready to retire. You know what I'm saying? That man is getting ready to do what I'm getting ready to do. Middle age, go buy a Ferrari. That's where we at. That's how long it's been. So while people want to get upset and mad about what Seth Luttrell is or isn't doing, what the offense is or isn't doing, he couldn't have foreseen that this was going to be the thing. And not for nothing, but Jeff Lebby getting a head coaching gig could have sent Brent Venables to getting another offensive coordinator, right? Someone that's outside the family, if you will. But he promoted analysts, and not just an analyst, but a former head coach at North Texas who had been a head coach where a quarterback was dealing by the name of Mason Fine. You could see how the calculus was working here. You could see how this was going to go. You could see that Seth Luttrell really wanted to do the job. Joe John Finley really wanted to do the job. It ain't working. You know what that reminds me of? Josh Heupel. Josh Heupel had a job at Oklahoma as offense coordinator when it really wasn't working, and Bob Stoops moved him on. Brought in a guy named Lincoln Riley. Turned out to be a great decision in the long run, but is it creating animosity that still lingers? Yeah. And you could see what it meant to Josh Heupel, who is not usually the kind of guy to show his emotions that often, in the locker room when Tennessee had beaten Oklahoma. He told those boys, look, tonight was not about me, but it did move me to see y'all gave it just a little bit more extra for me. And then Nico Iamaleava, understanding the moment, stopped everybody from the breakdown and said, hey, coach, here's the game ball. That is what is at stake right now. That's where people are saying Brent Venables is going to have to make the hard decisions. Brent Venables has never had a hard time making the hard decisions, but timing is everything. You blow it up right now, what are you blowing up? What else are you blowing up? What unintended consequences are you going to invite into your house? At a moment of real pressure, be curious to see what Brent Venables is going to do. But one of the things that was not going to happen was getting Dillon Gabriel back to Oklahoma.